Some of the most terrifying places in New York City are hidden in plain sight. Today, we're going to take you through the top 5 scariest locations in New York, where the veil between the living and the dead is thinner than you might think. Number 5. The Catacombs of Old St. Patrick's Cathedral. Our first stop takes us beneath one of New York's most iconic landmarks, Old St. Patrick's Cathedral. You may have seen the grand church standing tall on Mott Street, but what you don't know is that underneath its stone floors lies a labyrinth of catacombs, an underground burial site where hundreds of souls rest in eternal darkness. In the 1800s, St. Patrick's became a final resting place for some of the wealthiest and most influential families in New York. But as the years passed, the catacombs became more than just a tomb. The church's crypts have been reported to be haunted by restless spirits, their graves disturbed, and their presence still felt. Legend has it that in the late 1800s, the body of a prominent figure, believed to be an infamous mobster, was placed in the catacombs. After a violent altercation during his funeral, it's said that his restless spirit began tormenting those who dared enter the crypt. People who ventured too deep into the catacombs have reported hearing whispering voices, footsteps following them, and a chill that cuts right through the bone. For decades, those brave enough to venture into the catacombs have come out with unsettling stories. Some have even claimed that they saw figures lurking in the dark, a woman dressed in black, her face hidden in shadow, beckoning them further into the tomb. Many of those who entered the catacombs at night never came back. Number 4. The Amityville Horror House. Next, we take a detour from the city itself to a place that still holds its dark influence in the very heart of New York. The infamous Amityville House, located just outside the city on Long Island, is the scene of one of the most chilling paranormal cases ever documented. On November 13, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered 6 members of his family in cold blood. The gruesome killings left a trail of horror and tragedy. But what happened after is what truly sends chills down the spine. Shortly after the DeFeo family was buried, a new family, the Lutz family, moved into the home. But it wasn't long before the Lutzes began experiencing unimaginable terror. Strange smells of sulfur filled the air, cold spots plagued the house, and an oppressive, evil force seemed to hang over them. The walls seemed to bleed, and a monstrous figure, resembling a pig with glowing eyes, appeared in the windows. The family was terrorized for only 28 days before fleeing in the dead of night, leaving behind all of their belongings. To this day, the house remains a symbol of the supernatural. Some say the spirits of the DeFeo family still linger in the walls, seeking revenge. Others believe that the true evil resides in the house itself, a malevolent force that feeds on those who dare enter. While it's a short drive from the city, the Amityville Horror House has become a place of pilgrimage for those seeking to confront the darkness that lives there. But be warned, not all who enter the house come out the same. Number 3. The Morris-Jumel Mansion. In the heart of Manhattan, amidst the growing shadows of the city, there stands an old mansion with a dark and bloody history. The Morris-Jumel Mansion, built in 1765, is the oldest house in Manhattan, and perhaps one of the most haunted. During the American Revolution, the mansion was used as a headquarters by George Washington. But it wasn't just the ghosts of soldiers that linger here. Over the years, numerous visitors have reported unsettling occurrences, whispers, flickering candlelight, and the unmistakable presence of a woman in a white dress who seems to walk through the halls at night. She is thought to be Eliza Jumel, the wife of the mansion's wealthy owner, Stephen Jumel. Eliza was a woman of great beauty and power, but also one of great tragedy. Her husband died under mysterious circumstances, and she was left to face her own inner demons. Some say she never truly left the mansion after her death, her spirit bound to the place of her greatest torment. Visitors often report a strange, overwhelming sense of sadness when they step inside the mansion, almost as if the very walls are weeping for the lost souls who once lived there. Others have felt the sensation of being watched, an eerie, unshakable feeling that follows them wherever they go. Number 2. The Brooklyn Triangle. Our second-to-last stop takes us to one of New York's most infamous and least understood paranormal hotspots, the Brooklyn Triangle, located between the neighborhoods of downtown Brooklyn, Dumbo, and Brooklyn Heights. This mysterious area has a long history of eerie events and unsolved disappearances. The area got its name from the strange, inexplicable phenomena that occur within its boundaries. It's as if the laws of nature don't apply here. People have claimed to experience sudden, unexplained blackouts, electronic devices malfunctioning, and even the sensation of time slowing down when they enter the triangle. But the true horror lies in the disappearances. In the early 1900s, a number of people vanished without a trace in this area. Men, women, and children. No one knows where they went, and no evidence has ever been found. Some say they're lost in some other dimension, trapped by a curse that haunts the land. Others claim the triangle is a portal to something far darker. To this day, locals speak in hushed tones about the triangle's curse, and many avoid the area after dark. They say if you venture into the triangle alone at night, you'll hear whispers, calling your name from the shadows. And if you listen too closely, you might just disappear yourself. Number 1. The Brooklyn Navy Yard, and finally, we reach the most terrifying location on our list, the Brooklyn Navy Yard. This historic site, now home to museums and industrial buildings, has long been the setting of strange and terrifying occurrences. But perhaps the most chilling is the story of the haunted ship, the USS Missouri. The Missouri was a ship that saw action in World War II, and many of its crew met untimely deaths. But it's what happened after the ship was decommissioned that truly makes this place one of New York's darkest locations. The ship, now docked at the Navy Yard, has become a focal point for paranormal activity. Those who have stepped aboard the ship report hearing phantom footsteps on the deck at night, the sound of heavy machinery operating when nothing is there, and ghostly figures appearing in the windows. But it's not just the ship that's haunted, it's the entire Navy Yard. The spirits of soldiers who died during training accidents, as well as those lost in battle, still linger in the yard's abandoned buildings. Many people who have worked at the Navy Yard claim to have felt cold hands on their shoulders, or to have seen shadowy figures in the corners of their eyes. One former security guard even reported seeing an entire crew of ghostly sailors walking the deck of the Missouri, looking as if they were preparing for battle. But the most terrifying part? The voices, whispering, urging those who hear them to join the crew. If you hear them, it's said that you will never be able to leave.